Welcome back to the next session about allergies. Now, this is a very important uh, session we're going to talk about. It has a lot to cover. So we're going to start first with the environmental allergies because those are more, it's a little shorter to go through. With environmental allergies, I want to refer you to my book titled Let Me Lend You a Hand. It's on Amazon. I described there how did it begin? How did I get here, right? What impacted, what stressors impacted my body? So I personally developed environmental allergies to where I took Benadryl, and then after a year, Benadryl wouldn't work anymore, and then Zyrtec, and then Zyrtec wouldn't work anymore, and then they sent me to do allergy shots, which I refused, and I decided to actually reverse that. And how did I reverse it? So first thing to remember with environmental allergies, it's very important to remove all the stressors. Just like I describe in my book, what are the stressors? Physical, emotional, spiritual, right? You remove the stressors and then you build up your immunity. How do you do that? Well, go down to a local farmer's market and get some local honey. The honey that you want to get it from different flowers that are in the area where you live, and get several different jars. It helps. Start with that with one spoonful in the morning, one spoonful at night. For several days, you'll feel a huge difference. Start building up your immunity. After a while, you're no longer going to have that issue where your body is just reacting to every pollen that is around you where you live. So that's really simple, really straightforward, and you will not need any over-the-counter meds for that. I actually, since 2009, when I was able to clear the environmental allergies, I haven't had to buy anything over the counter, whether for me or for my husband or my children. None of us have had to deal with any of those issues, right? Now, when it comes to food allergies, that's a little bit more tricky. So we've got two kinds of reactions. You have the IgG reactions and the IgE reactions. What I've discovered since 2016 and 2017, I did blood tests for my children, both IgG and IgE. On the IgG aspect, the food allergies that I noticed were particular to each and every one of my children, according to what I had fed them as babies. What were the first foods that they had as babies that they were first introduced to? So like 5 to 8 different foods that they were first introduced to. Those were the foods that they reacted, and they were actually foods that they were the fresh type of foods. Like if I had given them avocados or blueberries or baby cereal, the wheat or rice cereal, those were the ones that they actually had developed allergies, and they were particular. So if child number one was introduced to even boiled eggs was the first one. If child number one was introduced first to boiled eggs and bananas or carrots, those were the foods that she had developed allergies to. For child number two, it was different because I had introduced her to different types of foods, and child number three was different because I had introduced her to different type of foods. So the IgGs are, belong to whatever the child is introduced to first. Now, there's also something tricky. And moms, I really encourage you to read my book titled Let Me Lend You a Hand, because I describe there how else do baby foods impact, right? So they do constipation, right? They give you constipation, and that can cause tearing of the inner lining of the gut. So that also helped me to understand that the gut for the babies is not ready. Babies are not there yet to be introduced to foods early on in their infancy, right? We need to push it further closer to age 1. And I've done that with my older children, with my younger children. I introduced them later to baby foods, and they didn't develop any IgGs. They did really well. They didn't have any issues. So it's really important to read my book. I have lined up there several chapters regarding food allergies and how do you best care for the baby. When do you start feeding baby solids? I've really encouraged highly towards the end of age 1. And one other thing you want to do with babies is that you really want to introduce them not only later, but safe foods that are cooked, foods that are fresh. Those were the foods that they were typically developing allergies to. When it comes to IgEs, it's a little bit more complicated. IgEs are the food allergies that are the anaphylaxis ones, the ones that will give you the anaphylactic shock that you will need EpiPen for, right? Those are the scary ones that actually, these are the type of allergies that the insurance covers for. these are the type of allergies you will be receiving an EpiPen for. You will be checked at the allergist office. Now, I'm going to introduce a concept here. So I was playing with my children earlier in the week that as I was playing rough with my younger 3 children, they wanted to wrestle with me. One of them accidentally bumped their elbow onto my eye, and so the next day I got a bruise. And I didn't like it, right? But it was an accident. So I'm not going to punish my kids because an accident happened. We were having fun, we were playing, doing something that we enjoy doing. And it just happened, right? It was an accident. Now, when it comes to IgEs, the scary food allergies, what I discovered back in the beginning of COVID, the first few months of COVID, I had this thing that I just needed to go and see the allergist one more time. And my kids were due for an allergy test. The older 3 had become anaphylaxis. I had followed with them all the CDC's guidelines and everything that pediatricians had told me, right? Because I was a first-time mom. I did everything I was told. Only those 3 children out of 7 that I have, only those 3 of them developed anaphylaxis reactions. The older 2 had nuts. The 3rd one had egg allergy. I've worked with their bodies, and I only have 2 currently, the 2 who have nut allergies that are still anaphylaxis, and the one that had egg allergy, now she's free of that. So I have 5 healthy children that don't have any anaphylaxis reactions and can eat anything, and 2 who can't. So anyway, getting back to the same, I went to go see the doctor and repeat the skin test for the IgE reactions. And I had this question that kept popping into my head. What happened with my children? Why did they become anaphylaxis? At first, she said the same thing as she had said before, that it's due to, if the parents have allergies, then children will develop food allergies. Well, I said, I don't. Neither my husband. We've had the food allergy testing done years ago. We didn't have any, right? We can eat anything and everything. We're fine. The second is genetics, and I said I'm willing to do genetic testing just to find out what happened. And she said, no, you don't need to do that. And then the third thing, she said, well, we've recently found out the immunizations do cause sensitization, so we're working on a new vaccine to desensitize you from vaccinations. It's called vaccine desensitization. I was shocked to find that out, right? I called my pediatrician to ask and find out whether pediatricians knew anything about it. And they said, no, they don't know anything about it. Immunization department has not shared anything with them. So I think it's time that the truth comes out, right? I understand that, giving vaccines to our children, it was meant well. It was meant, to protect us from various, diseases and such. But along the way, they have found out that immunizations do cause sensitization. And that's truth needs to come out. She did say that, but you still have to vaccinate your children. And I thought that was just unfair for her to say that because, that's a decision that parents need to make. So these are my findings. Both checking with my children, like what I noticed, what happened to my children. And I hope that you also get to view the first video that I posted on this Facebook page is about how vaccines impacted my children, because there's more reactions that I noticed with that. But the other thing too is that, my other children who haven't been vaccinated haven't had any IgE reactions. They're all healthy, right? And it takes a while to clear all that. So it's really important to pay attention. I'm going to be posting here also a link of my book, so you know where to get it, and learn a little bit more about it, how vaccines impacted my children, and how to take care of your children, and when to feed them solids, and because you want to take care of them because they need to be healthy for the rest of their life. Again, thanks for watching, Eva Weeks, and I hope you have a wonderful and healthy week. And please share and follow the Found and Feeling Facebook page, and this is important information. So thank you for continuing to follow.